Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. On today's show, we're talking about how to negotiate with a seller who has no idea what's really permitted on their property. There's numerous examples of properties that exist for historical reasons, but they don't comply with the new zoning regulations. For example, new zoning regulations may have a minimum lot size, or perhaps new setback requirements. As long as you keep the existing structure within the existing envelope, you're entitled to maintain the existing improvements. But as soon as you demolish the existing structure and attempt to build something new, then the new rules may apply. In that case, you could be destroying significant value and ultimately render a parcel of land 100% useless. I was speaking with the owner of a property this week, and he didn't know the zoning of his property. His property was below the minimum lot size, and the existing house did not meet the minimum setbacks to the back property line or the side yard property line. The property has no municipal services and would be too small to have both water well and a septic system. A septic system requires about 49-foot spacing between the well and the septic. Also requires the septic system be at least 10 feet from the property line. Put all of this together, and you have constraints that can no longer be met on the existing property. If his septic system needs to be replaced, the new permit will require compliance with the new code. But if you don't have enough land to comply, you've got a problem. There's a paradox that cannot be satisfied on the existing property. You'll need to somehow expand the property or find a way to connect to municipal services if they're even available. The property just became unusable and its value dropped like a stone. All too often, the existing homeowner doesn't understand these risks. They don't even know the zoning attached to their property. After all, why would they? The property's been in their family for generations. Their grandparents lived there, the parents lived there, they even spent their summers there as a child. Nobody ever discussed zoning rules. There'd be no reason to. Over the years, the zoning code was updated and the owners would not have been even notified. Unless there was an act of condemnation, the seller of the property would have no idea what the current zoning restrictions mean for their own property. In the old days, homes were built very close to the road, and this was for practical reasons. Cars didn't exist. Snow would have been a problem in winter months, so a large setback from the road would have been reserved only for the wealthiest of property owners with a huge estate. As roads were built to accommodate cars, they were often widened to deal with increased traffic, and setbacks to the front door of the house would have shrunk as more and more cars dominated daily life. These older homes built on stone foundations would have never contemplated what the future would bring. I'm currently in discussion with the seller of another property. They believe a significant subdivision can be built on their land. If the zoning can be changed, then that's true. But the final number of units will probably be limited by access to the major arterial roadway. The seller can't be an expert on what's permitted. It's just not their field of expertise, and they have not attempted to get the kind of zoning density that a developer would want for a parcel of that size. Nevertheless, the seller and their agent speak with tremendous confidence about what can be built on the property. The agent aims to convince the buyer that they have the knowledge and that's all the buyer should need. No need to worry. Zoning changes are done all the time and they're completely routine, right? Well, I'm sorry to say the burden of proof is in the data. Some agents think that buyers don't know how to look up information that's publicly available. Yes, you need to look at the zoning map. Yes, you need to read the zoning guide, which sometimes is several hundred pages. Then you need to find the specific exceptions that pertain to the subject property and the overlays that might affect the property. For example, if the property is fronting on a major state-controlled highway, then the highway authority is the body that will ultimately grant access to the property. Is it easy to find this information? No, it's not easy, but it's not that difficult either. After you've found the relevant documentation, the next step is to call the zoning office and the building department to confirm your understanding of everything you've researched. All of this work is no more than a couple of hours. Surprisingly, something that the selling agent rarely has done and very few buyer agents take the time to do either. If you're a serious professional investor, having the zoning research completed before you even negotiate the selling price with the seller will almost always give you the negotiating upper hand. As you think about that, have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. Talk to you again tomorrow.